In this video, we will summarize all of the different types of transformations of a piecewise function. In the previous two videos, we've learned that there are different types of transformations, both rigid and non-rigid, and they go in their two directions, vertical and horizontal. We've also seen this transformed function equation several times for g of x. There are a total of 6 different types of transformations that we have explored in the previous videos. We also used this particular Desmos calculator to explore these different transformations. If you would like to follow along, open up a web browser and type in this web address. We began by exploring the parameters h and k. For the parameter h, what type of transformation occurred? Hopefully you selected horizontal translation. For the parameter k, what type of transformation occurred? Hopefully here you selected vertical translation. Next, we had a second video that explored the parameters a and b. For the parameter b, what type of transformation occurred? That was a little bit of a trick question because there was actually 2 different types that could occur. Either a horizontal stretch or shrink, or horizontal reflection. For the parameter a, what type of transformation occurred? Again, a little bit of a trick question. Either vertical stretch, shrink, or reflection. Remember, if you want to try out any of these different transformations, you can always return to the Desmos file and adjust the sliders as you like to see those changes happen in the graph. Again, we just said that A affected the graph with a vertical stretch, shrink, or reflection. And specifically, we see those changes happen as a vertical stretch when the value of A is greater than 1, a vertical shrink whenever the value of A is between 0 and 1, and a vertical reflection whenever the value of A is negative. You can always return to the previous videos too if you want to go in more depth with those different explorations. Now remember, your teacher may use slightly different terminology for some of these types of transformations, and they may even use a slightly different form for the transform version of the equation of the function. For example, as you can see here, instead of dividing x minus h by b, they may choose instead to multiply that quantity by b. Regardless, what I want you to do now is see, what do you notice about the location of the parameter, its operation, and its type of transformation? Do you notice anything that you can generalize? Hopefully you see that anything inside the function, any parameter change inside the function, affects the transformation in a horizontal direction, whereas any change outside of the function affects it in a vertical direction. Also, I hope that you see that any addition or subtraction affects the change with a translation versus any multiplication or division affects it as a stretch, shrink, or reflection. Those are the big ideas and generalizations that I hope that you see through these explorations with the Desmos graph. So to summarize all of these transformations together, let's consider this example, that g of x equals 2 times f of negative x plus 5 plus 2. First of all, you may need to reorganize or rearrange some parameters just so that it looks more like the transform version that we see in the Desmos file. And I'm going to do that by factoring out a negative value here. I'm going to just place a negative in front. And even if I wanted it to look exactly the same as the Desmos file, I could write this as the following, divided by -1, to make it very clear what each parameter is. Now, A is 2. Because A is 2, that means we will see a vertical stretch. B is -1. And because it's negative, we will see a horizontal flip or reflection. H is +5. Be very careful about that, because remember the minus sign is actually part of the transform function rule. Because H is +5, we will see a horizontal shift of right 5 units. And finally, K is 2. And we will see here a vertical shift up 2 units. Forget, you can come back to the Desmos file just to confirm those transformations you have listed. So A as 2 shows us a vertical stretch. B as -1 shows a horizontal reflection or flip. H equals 5 means that the graph will move to the right 5 units. And K equals 2 means the graph will move up 2 units. And here we have represented all of the transformations.